Hey everybody, welcome to Gamernomicon podcast.
There was no pause.
There was. There's a little gap.
There was no pause.
Hi, I'm Mike again, and this is
Jeff again.
J-E-F. No, we agreed that it was J-O... No,
G-E-G-H.
J-E-G-H. Yeah,
yeah, just like how rough.
Jeghh. I don't remember that at all.
No, in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how rough is spelled?
Yeah.
Yeah, rough is spelled and it sounds like an F
agree
sound.
to that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
English, Jeff.
I need to agree to these things.
English.
I don't
you
agree.
You can't just change my name without running this by me.
Exactly.
Your parents got to do that
It's not
shit.
legal.
Your parents got to do that.
I mean,
your name used to be Leopold before they fucking changed that shit.
I think my name could have been like James or something like that. It was going to have a J, regardless.
That's still you.
Jaleopold.
Jaleopold.
Jabricka.
All right, so what are we talking about again? I don't remember.
We just played the Destiny 2 beta, and
we did.
And Mike brought up a statement. I don't know much about it. I didn't read about it or anything. But you said that some people who didn't like the beta wanted to get their...
Before we get into that,
back.
let's actually just talk about the game first.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of us.
So Destiny is
we all played the beta today.
Made by Bungie.
Made by
Published by Activision.
Published by Activision.
Same people that made
Same
Halo.
Bungie, yes.
Yeah, Halo.
Not Activision. Activision.
Not Activision. Halo.
No.
Bungie. Halo.
Yeah, and
Call of Duty. Activision.
So recently,
Activision didn't make.
So if you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock or something, they made a sequel to the games called Destiny 2, or at least that's what it's been called so far. It's probably going to be Destiny 2, and it's coming out later this year. And
Destiny. No, they called it the year 2. What is it? Year 3?
No. Year 2 was that was what they called their like.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what is this like? What is this? The fourth year? Fourth year? When did the game come out?
The version
2013. 2014. It came out 2014. So it's year. Yeah, this is year 3.
Yeah, I should have that.
Right? 2014.
I guess so.
Yeah, we should have.
Okay, yeah.
We should have figured that out.
But but I didn't know you were going to bring that up. But either way, there's a sequel coming out, and recently, before the sequel came out, the beta came out, and we recently played the beta, and
played the beta.
Yes.
I was gonna say something, and then I remembered. Don't date the episode, so I shut up.
Yeah, so we had initial thoughts
of
the beta. Yeah, I enjoyed the beta too, especially that homecoming mission, the first mission. Oh,
watching you play it was weird because it's like because it was you. It was like I'm seeing somebody who's played the game before, but trying to remember and figure out how to play the game again.
Yeah.
And it's like you were just moving super slow. It's like just run, run that way, and then like you'll go to aim. And it's like.
Yeah, I couldn't remember like anything about playing the game and the buttons.
And then, I was
trying to figure out punching again.
You saw the controls. He's like, oh god.
Somebody likes to play inverted.
Hey man.
Everybody. I need everybody's help on this. We need to stop this man from playing inverted.
Full disclosure.
We have to end this.
Jeff plays
inverted is terrible.
Inverted.
It's inverted
because
is
up is down and down is up in his world.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's perfect logic
I think Jeff's
behind.
From the upside down.
He might be from the upside down.
Everyone who plays inverted is from the upside down.
Yeah, because upside down was before inverted. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Cool,
exactly.
man.
Yeah,
only when flying though.
Cool.
Like if you're not flying,
it's the same idea though.
Okay.
It's the same idea.
Friends don't let friends play inverted, man.
Yeah, because if you're controlling a ship,
I'm trying to stop you.
if you're using a ship, you're controlling the whole thing. When you control a character, the sights, you're controlling just the arms.
What I'm saying is the same idea, though. That's all I'm saying. Like the idea of inverted is as if you put the analog on the back of somebody's head. You don't push up to move the head up. That's all I'm saying.
I would, but my controller's not on the back.
It makes logical sense.
Drifter plays inverted.
Yeah, no.
I don't think he does anymore. I think he said he changed.
He made a nice video about it. It basically comes down to how you view the character. Like Jeff views himself as controlling the character, whereas I view myself as being the character. And that's where the thing comes from.
Yeah. Jeff likes controlling people. It comes from his long line of
family.
Okay. All right, so we played Destiny 2 beta. And like I said, I was trying to figure out the controls because I didn't buy any of the DLC because of as per the previous DLC discussions that we had. We talked about that in the other episode.
I'm quite sure we're talking about
that. Yeah, so, I mean, you can go back and listen to that. I don't know which episode it is, otherwise I would... maybe I'll put an annotation to it, I don't know.
Very, firm decision-making right there.
Yeah, exactly. I am nothing if not decisive.
Firm.
Anyway, I was trying to figure out all the controls. I couldn't remember like the grenades and the punches and stuff, but I got it. After a couple minutes,
and then
I was like, all right,
shot
cool.
like all of your ammo into a flame or solar shield, and it's like I'm sitting there, it's like maybe
I forgot about
just,
the shields.
Maybe he just doesn't. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then when I brought it up later, it's like...
I heard you. You're like, you don't
But
have
but that wasn't the first time. You fought like 2 or 3 of those guys beforehand. And then when I mentioned it, it's like, oh, I forgot all about this. Like, really?
Yeah, I did. I completely forgot about it.
People have shields.
Okay, I completely forgot about it.
Tear down first before getting to the
I honestly thought that you were just doing it because you just like, I like this gun. I don't care.
No, I forgot. I could not remember how to play that. I didn't remember anything about that game. So I didn't play any of the DLC. So for you guys, it's like you maybe played it last time, maybe like a year at most or whatever.
I played earlier this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I haven't played it in
like
over 2 years now, something like that.
Yeah.
Year and a half, something like that. So it took me a second, but I got in there.
Maurice hates Destiny.
I don't hate Destiny. I actually really like Destiny. Like Destiny as a game, I had a great time. I loved to play in the game. I loved playing with you, but my problems with it were that the story really let me down. And that's my thing. If I have my issues with the story. It just felt like it ended too quickly. We talked about this in the other Destiny episode.
Like an uncle on his birthday, the story let him down.
Okay. So, as far as gameplay goes, I loved it. The other thing I didn't like about it is the grind. And maybe that's a topic for another podcast thing. It's just
we already had that.
Grinding in general. I don't know.
Yeah, we had that topic.
But yeah, grinding bores me. Like Monster Hunter is the max. Like of grinding on.
Yeah, and you play the game for like 400 hours average.
I love Monster Hunter. Okay, I love Monster Hunter. I am no shame. That's
all
in
I can sing without
definitely played that game for over 1,000 of hours now. But again, even still with Monster Hunter, I get to that point where I'm like, I don't feel like fighting Tigrex again. I did
made
this
his armor like all
day.
the time.
Like I don't want to do this anymore. Like
you know what it is for me? I like stats.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing stats increase. So it's like me fighting the monster. Let's say like 10 times here, 10 times with you, 10 times with somebody else, whatever.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I fought that like 60, 70 times. I like seeing that number of like just it shows that I progressed. I made it somewhere. I don't have just like my own internal clock or internal idea of how many times I may have fought. Like I can visually see I fought this thing, for 40 times. I fought this thing like 80 times. I like seeing those type of numbers.
Yeah.
And you only get that from grinding over and over again.
Yeah.
I find it. I like grinding in games.
I think the
depending
grinding,
on what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in the case of Monster Hunter, the reason why the grinding doesn't bother me so much is, for one, you don't always need to grind. I mean, it is you can maybe fight a monster and make its complete armor set after 2 or 3 fights. It depends on how difficult and good the armor is. Like for a rare high level armor, you might need a rare item, and that means you're going to have to fight it over and over again because you need to get this really rare material. Yeah. Whereas the original version, the original armor set, you could probably fight it a couple times and get it all the pieces. But the cool thing about Monster Hunter is that when you can switch weapons or styles or whatever if you're playing Generations, and the same exact monster at the same level of difficulty can kind of be a completely different fight. You can change armor sets and change tactics, and so you can fight the same thing over and over and over again and challenge yourself in other ways. I know how to beat it with the greatsword, but I've never fought it with a lance before.
Well, you could try the same thing
to do this,
with Destiny and choosing a different instead of being a Titan, be a hunter.
Maybe like twice, because back when I played it, remember you only had 2. You could either be one or the other. Even then, what? It doesn't change.
No. I wasn't talking about classes. Yeah. I was talking about characters. Warlock, Hunter,
yeah, but see,
Titan.
If I wanted to do that, then I'd have to start the game over again.
But no, they gave you it's a little item that they gave you where you go straight to level 20
after I finish the game. By the time they did that, I was already done. I already finished the game.
Yeah, but there's other stuff. Yeah, but there's more stuff that you want to...
Yeah, but that more stuff is the same thing over and over and over again, and there's no more story for me to get. So the only thing that was there for me is items, and you said you like the stat increase, so for you, grinding and getting that stat, that really nice set of weapon or armor is like, oh, that's cool, but like,
well, in the beta you didn't have to do much grinding,
and then even if I switch classes, like, the weapons are the same, the gunplay is the same, it's the same game, you just get different special abilities.
Different, the characters fundamentally
being able to come back to life,
different, like, still shooting with the same weapon.
What I mean is that, like, if I'm using a hunter, I'm having a totally different gameplay experience in terms of how I move around the world than a warlock, and more so in 2, not in the first one. Because, like,
so do
you remember seeing how warlock flies around?
Okay. In the second one,
in the air forever.
Sure, maybe.
That's why I said specifically.
I think that's why
so maybe that's an improvement, from the first one to the second one, is that playing as each class feels more different now than it did before. But if we're just talking about Destiny 1, it's that even if I played as a different class or something like that, the missions are exactly the same. They play out the same way. With Monster Hunter, it can be completely different every time. And I'm not saying that makes it exonerated from any and all grievances with grinding, because Monster Hunter still frustrates me a bunch, and I stopped playing it for a while because I don't like grinding. But Monster Hunter is my limit, because there's all these other ways that I can play it and things that I can do to change it up.
Likes grinding.
You know why I feel like Monster Hunter works? Is not just because of what you're saying, but because there's story to Monster Hunter, but you don't need the story in Monster Hunter to keep playing it.
Right.
Whereas, like, a game, I feel like, where the grinding can be, frustrating, it's like, for me, is an RPG. Because you're progressing through a story, and then it's like, all right, you have to grind to move on to the next part. Not because of the game designing you to be needing to grind in a section, but you know that if I don't level up a lot here, I'm going to have a tough time later on. So let me just sit in this area, rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Whereas, like, in a game like Monster Hunter, you're constantly progressing as you grind, no matter what. That's just you're always progressing.
Are you talking about skill of the player?
Yeah, you're progressing and you're also gaining new items.
Yeah,
Like you not only like if you get items, like let's say you're grinding with your friend in Monster Hunter and you're getting a bunch of items that you don't need, sell it. You get a ton of money from that at that point. A lot of monster parts. Like I find that much more rewarding. Where it's like if I grind a bunch in Final Fantasy, I have a higher level character. Yeah. I mean, I may have a little bit more money. You don't get a lot of money in fights.
Right.
But that's the big difference.
Right. That's a
and
good.
You're being halted in your story as well.
Yeah, that's a good analogy of what's going on. Is comparing Destiny to Monster Hunter in that way. Is because like, in terms of gameplay, is one of the things that I didn't like about Destiny is that your level means like everything, and it's the same thing in a Final Fantasy game. If you're level 12 and you're trying to fight a level 90, you're probably gonna die. But in Monster Hunter, even if you have a low-level weapon or a low-level armor, you can still beat the monster. I mean, you get 50 minutes. Like, it's very rare that you get yourself into a situation where you can't win in Monster Hunter. Like, there are times where it comes down to the wire, and you run out of health items, and it might be time. So I've timed out before. I mean, it
50
happens.
Minutes.
Yeah, it happens.
And it sucks.
But most of the time, you can beat most of the enemies in 20 minutes, something like that, 25, 30.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Right. Yeah, but you get 50. You get a nice long time to take your time, and you can, so you can do it, and so your skill matters. I can go in there with we beat an Agnaktar in the volcano with no armor on and no cool drinks
and fire weapons even though he was resistant to fire
and we beat him. So that's entirely possible. In Destiny, you can't do that. Sure. If you're even just 1 or 2 levels below them, it's almost impossible.
Well, see, in Destiny, you can't not have armor on.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
But like, I mean is that if the game played more like a first-person shooter, in that I can be skillful and hide behind cover and avoid damage and things like that, you can do that somewhat, but then like the enemies all have futuristic grenade weapons that explode, and even if you're hiding behind cover, they'll come around and hit you, and it doesn't play like a shooter. They play like tanks. All the enemies are tanks that just run up to you, and and it's like that's the game. It's not bad. I like it. I enjoy it. But that's a good difference between them. So like, I would like a dodge roll or an ability to evade.
You can if you're a certain class.
Yeah, if you're a certain class, like or now in Destiny 2, you get the shield on your arm, that you can use more frequently, that's good, you know, because now I have something. If I'm in a situation where I'm like, I need to get out of here, you know, so I can time my shield properly. There's a little bit more element of skill in there. So
I like the
I'm
extra
excited,
abilities in the beta, like in Destiny 2. Versus like the other one, like where you just get the grenade melee. I like the grenade melee plus extra ability, third ability. That's a nice touch.
Well, I mean, you always had like the kind of third ability. It depends on what it's going to be used for. Like for the class I was using for the hunter. Again, I don't remember. I think it was called Arc Strider. I don't remember what it was called. But you use that ability, and all it is just a normal dodge roll. Now it may have different properties from like the what was it called?
It might have more
shadow step.
Yeah.
It acts like the shadow step, where like I can dodge forward and move, maneuver around, purchase moves or whatever. But it may have more bonus effects for me using it at the right moment. Like maybe I think it said it like it recharged something. I don't remember.
It might just have extra invincibility frames at the.
Yeah, so it's like I mean, yes, you have this third ability, but how effective would it really be depending on what class and how your setup is? But when you were explaining the situation of like, you know, your complaints of Destiny in terms of like the level and all this stuff and how it can complicate the situation if you're just a couple levels behind, I think their problem is that they're trying to market this game as not being an MMO when you have a lot of the MMO tropes and qualities.
Right.
And it's like at a certain point, just give in to being an MMO, and then you'll make things so much easier. You can follow those paths a lot more, and then because like for example, for me, I think it would be much more manageable or much more much easier to grind in that game if you didn't hit your cap so soon in terms of your level. Like maybe you're light, you're constantly working to get your light to a certain point, and maybe the light can cap at a certain level. But I like games that have like you get to level 100 or something, and you progress slowly as you get up higher up the levels. Of course, the more experience you need, but you're constantly trying to increase that number, and that's what you're grinding for. You're grinding to push that number higher and higher. Whereas like in the previous Destiny, you grind, you push the number to 20, and you just sit there forever.
Yeah, and then everything else
and then
is
you
light.
grind and you do it again, and you hit level 40, and you sit there for the rest of the game cycle.
Yeah.
But your light increases. But I mean, the light is not. It's a different factor. You're still sitting at 40.
Yeah.
So what's the point of having 40 as an option if it only matters with your light?
Right. Exactly.
40 is just an unlockable
I think
number.
It's the same thing with like in other RPGs that I played, like you know, Final Fantasy games. They try, like, it's a goal in any level-based game that your characters should have enough experiences by just playing the game to be at an appropriate level. And there's different ways to handle this. A lot of games have enemies that scale with you. Like, even back to Final Fantasy VII, like Sephiroth scales depending on how strong you are. So if you're at this level, then he'll have these stats. And if you're a level higher, he'll have these stats instead. Like, Skyrim does that. Some monsters scale with you, some monsters cap at a certain point. So these monsters will always be like they might start off level 1 because you're level 1, but then once you become level 20, they stop at 5. So they're always going to be like, they can't get any stronger than that.
Yeah.
Whereas some scale with you, you know, indefinitely. And a game, it's a really difficult thing, I think, maybe for a game to figure out how to handle that properly. Like, if you're playing like a Final Fantasy game and there's a boss that's thrown at you, they want the boss to be challenging, but if it's too hard and impossible, then something is wrong. And in Destiny, that's how it feels. You know, like, what you can do is grind and get light and be strong or whatever, but you're only one level away. And you're like, but it's impossibly hard. Like, everything is killing me in like 1-2 hits, and I can't do anything, and I can't dodge. Like, there's no other options. You know, there's a bunch of enemies. You know, all of that kind of combines to make the grinding in that game way more annoying and frustrating than it has to be.
If you had just a visual level showing that like you're at level 40 and you're fighting somebody that's at level 60, then that kind of explains
then you
the
would
situation.
understand. You'd be like, okay, I clearly need to go...
Or like at level 50 or something.
And then it would feel different, because you'd be like, okay, if the way it was is that I'd be level 20, and then it would be like, this is a level 21 mission, and I'm just getting destroyed. And I'm like, but it's only one level, right? But if the levels were accurate, and it was like, I'm level 20, and this mission is a level 45. Then, and I could go up to that level, then I'd be like, okay, I just need to grind until I get to the point where I can take on that mission.
And it'll make you play the game a little bit
longer.
longer.
And that would be a far superior way of handling that, in my opinion. At least for me, it probably would make it easier for me to grind. I would also like just more variety, like, because the thing is that they you could only just redo the missions that you already did, and that's really boring. Like, how many times did you do the same missions over and over and over again? Like, it's so boring. Yeah, like give me, like, change up the missions, throw new enemies or more enemies or different enemies in different positions.
I mean,
or
they did
change
do that technically.
the enemies, completely, or give new missions. Like, don't give me DLC for new missions.
No.
Just give me some free new missions.
They didn't give new missions, but before the DLC even happened, they did have, like, your weekly strikes.
Right, but weren't those just other missions?
No, what I'm saying is that
just story missions.
They had modifiers.
You said do something different.
So they're harder, but they're same mission.
It depends. You're attacking. You're attacking.
Yeah, I'm attacking.
Right now. What I'm trying to say is that
fuck Bungie up.
What I'm talking about.
All by myself.
There's a reason why you shouldn't say that. I just watched a video about why you shouldn't say that.
Wait, what?
I just watched a video.
Well, okay. Let me. I'm just joking. I love them.
Okay,
they make a great game. I'm just joking around. Like, I don't. It's just playing games here. All love. It's all love.
It bounces back like a bungee. Yeah. But yeah. So what I like about
I only did it because he egged me on. And he was like, "You're attacking." I was like, "Yeah, I'm attacking." Like, it's just a joke.
Yeah. So what I was talking about was, or what I like about the Destiny beta topic is that
we're back on topic.
I like when what I like is the three commanders, Zavala, Cade, and Ikora are actually in that story part. Yeah. And like they're not just people to like, yeah, go on mission, and it's like, I'll never see you again while you're on that mission. Like, they're a part of it. Like it may be happening because it's happening at the tower where their main base of operations is. But like, you go out there and like Zavala's like, get behind me, and you're in his shield. You're behind him. Cade walks out.
To do actual story missions with other people.
Yeah, the other people came out of nowhere. That when the other Guardian players came out, I was like, what? That's an actual person and not an NPC that's helping fire back. This is great. Like, this is
so. It's like it's like, I think I remember it was a lot of times more so because I don't remember everything that happened in the story. I don't remember other people really being there for all the story missions, but I do. Actually, you know what? There were people there. There are people in the world, so that's not new. Never mind.
Okay, well,
I take that back. But they never really fought with you, but they could have, like, because you're getting thrown into the world, and you may see like a level 20 something character just running around in that area, but then you hit a certain zone where it becomes like the dark zone where you can't, like, that's where it separates you from the other person.
Yeah.
And it still has that. So what I like thinking about it now after hitting that dark zone in terms of it didn't do it in the first mission, but it did it in the
strike.
So it's like, it's not really that different, but it's nice for the moment that it happened.
Right.
Even though it would have been cooler if, like, maybe the characters would have, like, the guy would have mentioned, like, they're only going to let 3 people be there at a time. Mention the other people here. It's like, okay, Guardian, like, I don't know if you said it because I wasn't
like Guardians.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, hey, get back here. Like, you as a separate entity.
He said everyone get behind me.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
One thing that I wish that they could have done is I know like raids are like where the you can have up to 6 people, but I wish like your fire team could increase, like, because if you have 4 friends, like, so you're playing Crucible, you get a team of 6 on 6, right?
3 friends.
Huh?
We had 3 friends.
What?
So you can have 4 people.
Yes, or at least, or something like that. Or what I'm saying is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish you could have more people on. Like, just scale the difficulty. Like, make the boss or make the strike harder, but let me be able to have, like, because then it's like, okay, yeah, so we have 4 people, but only 3 of us can actually play together. Either rock, paper, scissors, or tell that guy to go play with somebody else
all day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I wish that happened, especially because in Crucible you can have 6 on 6 or 4 on 4, depending on which mode you're playing. It's like I wish that you could do that in like just the regular strikes, or the story mission. Just scale the difficulty. Just make the boss extra harder to make up for they have 4 people.
That's what Monster Hunter does too. The more people you have, the more difficult.
Yeah, they usually increase the health.
If anything, the more health it has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, like I just wish you could do that.
Or at least that's what they do now. Before in like 2, I think it's just no matter what, if you were fighting in like the
well, if you're fighting in the guild, it just has extra health. Yeah, it always has extra health.
Well, the guild is always stronger than the
but because if you remember from the first game, Eris Morn, she had a fire team of 6, and it's like if she had a fire team of 6, it was a raid, but why
exactly.
am I?
But it's based off of a raid, not based off of regular everyday missions.
I get it, but it seemed like she was just like always like. The way it made it seem for her was that she was just like always with those people, and like this was just the last mission they went on, but those 6 people were like her.
She had a fire team of 6, but it's a fire team works in that aspect is the same way as it works when you're playing. It's like you have this crew, you may not always be together in that moment, but when it's time to get something done, that's when you group up and you work together, and that's kind of how you reacted in the game.
I just wish
it would be nice to have more people,
even if not on strikes, just in regular play when you go to the Cosmodrome or something.
Yeah,
like that'd be cool
if it was just like patrolling or something.
Yeah, so because the way it is now, or the way it was back in Destiny 1, it's like you get a fire team of 3, and then all of y'all can go to the moon or the something, and then if you have another group of maybe 3 or 4 friends, if they all want to, you better hope they land in the same server when they go down there, because if they don't, they'll never see you.
What would be better, because I think a cool way to balance that and to keep it the way it is just to add like a new feature where it's like an alliance system or something where you have your fire team and you can team up with another fire team. And
so what about that?
And then you have like
remember you saw that clan banner thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if that's what that's about or something? Like if you have a clan, like it'll make it easier to, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So we had some criticisms of it. Is there anything specifically that you really loved? Because about Destiny 2.
Feels amazing. Like I don't know. I really like the feel of.
I like flying.
How it takes.
I'm flying. The Warlock. Yeah, you stay in the air forever when you fly with the Warlock. Yeah, I like that extra. I like the flying. I've seen another guy do a Nova bomb. And so the initial bomb hit, and then there were like 6 other like little bombs that came out. Because I remember in
one of those.
Yeah, in the first one it was like you can shoot one, or you can shoot one super fast, or you'd have the one that split into 3. But this was one bomb that came down, and then after it hit, 6 more bombs just came, and they would go and follow the.
I mean, they've done a lot of little things. Like again, the new blade dancer is character. Instead of having like a blade, you have like a lance or whatever. And just the little things where you're not attacking and you run around. I don't know if you saw it because I ran around on purpose when I was using it. But when you run, your character starts to like tilt a little bit, so it almost feels like you're like in like an anime scene, or like it just makes you feel like you're doing a lot more than what you are.
Yeah.
But what you were talking about beforehand. With the whole pre-order stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into that.
Well, hold on. All right, real quick. Because one thing I wanted to talk about is one of the things that I really liked about Destiny, is the shield.
Destiny 2 beta.
Because as a lot of times, I mean, it's even better in the Destiny 2 beta, but in Destiny in general, it can be really difficult to make the tank class of character feel fun to play and powerful. Because a lot of times the tanks don't really have really flashy or good, strong abilities. It's all about, buffers and healths and stuff like that so that you can take damage or reduce damage or have a lot of HP or whatever. But that shield, having the ability to just put up a shield and say, we're safe, it feels really good. It makes the character really fun, and I loved even in the Crucible, the PvP version, I could go and try to capture an objective. I could jump on the objective and be like, nope, this is ours, and that
you can defend
that was
the objective.
It felt really good to be a defender in that game. It didn't feel boring like it can feel in a lot of other games, but okay, I just wanted to say that because we were talking about things. I wanted to get some things that we liked in there.
One thing that I didn't like was
the
grenade times. They are kind of
that feels fixed because we mentioned before is that normally when you go in to change your different not perks, but your perks for your armor, it affects like the intelligence, the discipline, all that stuff. But it's changed up, and it didn't show that it had like resistance, mobility, and recovery listed instead. But it didn't show if that affected anything, and I'm quite sure it may have the same kind of system or style to it. So because I wasn't in there at all, I'm quite sure these were probably just fixed ratings for just the beta, and hopefully that's what it is. Yeah.
Just for the,
because you could increase that stuff quite a bit, and it shows you timers and everything, how long it will last before it recovered.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so now we can bring up the pre-order issues. Like right? That's the
yeah. So the main issue was that the people who didn't necessarily like the beta wanted to be able to return their pre-order, because the pre-order gave you early access to the beta, which at the end of the beta week or whatever, the last couple days were basically free to play for everybody. But if you wanted early access to the beta, you had to pre-order. And some people who played the beta, they were like, okay, yeah, maybe Destiny's not or maybe Destiny 2 is not what I liked. So what they ended up trying to do is they trying to return them at Best Buy. Now, I don't know if GameStop also did this, but Best Buy, you couldn't just get your money back. You had to actually pay Best Buy $20 in order for them to cancel your pre-order, which upset a lot of people. I mean, understandably so. It's like, yeah, so you want to return something, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're returning it. You also have to give me money for it. And it's like, but I return it to get my money back. And the reason why Best Buy did this, understandably so, also on the other side, is because you pre-ordered the game and you played the early access for the beta. You kind of got to pay for that, pal. Like, you need that, So it's like kind of like you buy something, and then, or you buy a CD, rip all the music off, and then like, yep, here's your CD back, and return the CD. From Best Buy's standpoint,
you could do that back in the day with EB Games.
Yeah.
When was it the Sega Dreamcast was out? Sega Dreamcast was super easy to rip games. You could like, hey, you could probably go to EB Games or whatever game store, get the game, and within the return policy, give it back to them. You have like a ton of games for free. It was really bad.
Yeah, I didn't have a.
We didn't do any of that, but
I didn't do it.
Yeah. We know of people.
I have family that did that stuff.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
We know of people. We don't know people.
Yeah. I mean, no. It was like. It's not that they don't know who my family is, man. They don't know who they are.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying.
I don't know if I know who your family is anymore.
It's like no, they did cool stuff where like they would
cool stuff.
Yeah, like
cool stuff like steal games.
No, I mean they had the games. They just burned copies of them.
Yeah. Oh, for others.
They kept them, man. What are you talking about?
Okay,
it's like when you buy a box of tissues and someone else is crying, you give them a tissue. Are you stealing them?
Yeah,
and
then you return the tissues.
They would buy their own game, and then they'll make a copy of their own game.
A friend of ours shoveled his driveway and then returned the shovel back to the store.
But no, like,
he didn't need it anymore.
One of my family members actually used to like he would put like emulators on like actual like Xbox consoles and everything. So you have this console, and you just play a ton of games on there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How do people do it with Super Bowl TVs?
So here's the thing. We were talking about back on topic. The return policy. And I can't remember specifically what like the issue was. That you had with it.
Oh, like, I remember.
Well, it wasn't really an issue. It was more so.
Well, an issue with what we were saying.
Yeah, the issue was that your statement was basically as if they didn't announce that this would once be free content for players.
All right, yeah.
And then what happened is that we were going back and forth without looking into that first to see that it said early access, which it ended up saying.
Right.
But it was mainly like my issue wasn't with your side of the story necessarily. With like it saying like it's a poor business move, or if they didn't say it was early access, if they just never mentioned that it was going to end up being free for other players to play the beta, then that's messed up to do for your customers, the people who are buying your game in terms of pre-order. But my whole statement was that I find that if I'm going to pre-order something, that is something that I know I want. I'm not going to pre-order something that I could potentially maybe not really want and maybe want to get my money back. Like if I'm going to pre-order like a game, I'm not going to pre-order like some third-party game that I just heard about that I'm on the fence for. Right. I'm gonna pre-order like the Destiny. I'm gonna pre-order like a Call of Duty. I'm gonna pre-order an Uncharted game. Like I'm gonna pre-order the games that I know that like I'm gonna play these games no matter how good or bad people kind of look at it.
Like no matter what comes out about this game, I know that I want to play this game.
I'm gonna put I'm gonna pre-order this game. I'm gonna get my hours worth in playing this game. Like, my money's worth. Basically. But the thing was that I also feel like if you're pre-ordering the game, then it's like you shouldn't pre-order the game and with the possibility that you're going to want to cancel that pre-order. You might as well just wait. Yeah, and the reason why I say it, the reason why
people like that Xbox Red Ring of Death, they didn't know it was going to be like.
That's not the same thing.
It was an issue that they didn't like. Yeah, I bought this and it was.
But it's not like you got to play the console before it came out and say, "Oh, I'm having this Red Ring of Death issue," and then try to get your money back. That's totally different setup for the scenario. But the problem is that most people that I would run into that are pre-ordering the Destiny 2 beta are pre-ordering the game because they want to play the game. Outside of what people were to say about the beta, they want to play it unless they fall into like the mass media, people complain about a certain issue, then they may try to return it just for that purpose to send a point. But you have like you're gonna buy this game, you're pre-ordering or whatever, and you should know from history of playing these type of games that the beta is going to end up being free for at least 2-3 days. Destiny 2's done it. Destiny 1 did it. You had Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, 2. I'm quite sure 1 did it. I didn't play that. But Ghost did it. Advanced Warfare probably did it. Infinite Warfare did it. Like all of these type of games that are shooters in itself, just in that genre alone, are doing that. Like you release a game, you give an early access beta, you release that beta for other people to play at the end of it. That's the norm. So it's like if you pre-ordering the game, I would find that most of your pre-order customers are going to know about that possibility. So it's like, then why are you trying to fish to get your money back because you didn't like the demo? I mean, it is messed up that they're making them charge, but it's like you shouldn't have pre-ordered the game in the first place. You should have just waited for the beta to come out and then played it and then pre-order if you liked it, or just don't buy it if you don't. Like, that's where I'm at.
Right. Like, and so obviously now we know that the result of that conversation is that the commercial specifically states that pre-ordering gets you early access to the beta, not only people who pre-order get access to the beta. And so because the latter of those two options is really like underhanded. It's like,
I agree.
it's like as a company you can't say, hey, we're going to release this game, here's a demo, but this demo's only available to people who pre-order the game. And honestly, my issue with that is why even do that in the first place? It's entirely, it seems at least like that's entirely a cash grab reason. You want people to pre-order your game so you can guarantee those funds. Here, to give them something, you're like, hey, pre-order the game, you can play the beta. What is it? And like, you're supposed, like your beta is supposed to be is like your demo. You know, like you want as many people as possible to play your beta.
No, I'm just trying to look for that timestamp because that should be at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, nice to see everybody. Yeah. What is it?
I'm trying to. All right, whatever. You would want your beta, your demo to come out and have as many people as possible to play. I mean, the whole point of that is to get people excited about the game, to give them a chance to play the game. This is what the game is.
Yeah.
You know,
and voice their concerns.
Yeah, by locking people out of that unless they pay you already, like before they even get to play the beta, is just like, why? Like you're just forcing people to pay money to test the game or to get your demo, which is it just feels better. It should be free, you know.
If that was the situation, then I understand.
Right, like that's the thing. Like, and so yes, they said early access, which does imply that eventually it will be free. But even then, still, like people could have been playing your game for 6 days, but now they only get to play it for 3 because they didn't want to pre-order it.
You don't need more than 3 days to understand if you like a beta or not.
Sure, I just miss the days when you could download a beta for a game or get a disc with a beta of the game, and that was your demo, and that was your demo, and you could have that, and you could play like the demo like right up until the day the game came out, and then now you have the full game. Like, it just feels underhanded and like a cash grab. Like, it's just a way to get money from people. And so I completely understand why people who the type of person, like, if someone knew already, like, I liked Destiny 1 enough, like, regardless of any issues I might have had with it, I like it enough to guarantee that I'm going to buy Destiny 2. Yeah. That game is sold already. I'm going to get it. Like, so in the situation with a customer like that, yeah, I'd pre-order the game. I'm going to pre-order it even if there is no benefits to pre-ordering it, because I'm going to get the game. But in a situation where you're someone who's maybe didn't play Destiny 1 or maybe isn't interested in Destiny 2, and you're like, I'd like to play the demo to see how will I feel about that game, but the only way you can play the demo is if you pre-order the game. And that's like, what, yeah, so I can't play the demo until you pre-order the game? Like, and then obviously they could have just waited. You know, we didn't know that at the time. They could have just waited.
I mean, you could have made that assumption as well.
Yeah, but I could have. But that's the thing. Rather than expecting your audience or the consumers to just assume that, well, okay, all these other games, the betas came out and were free after a certain number of days. This one will probably do that. Why not just make that part of your announcement? Like, you know, early access, like, people who pre-order get to start on this day. If you don't, beta extends to everyone on this day. Like, make that a part of your commercial. Don't sell it as if everyone needs to pre-order in order to play the beta.
Well, okay, so I mean, they kind of did. They just didn't say you're going to play it later.
No, the only thing they said is early access, which is like, okay, yeah, it implies that it'll eventually be free, but why not just tell everyone that it isn't? And you say, and the only reason they don't is because they want as much money as possible.
You said it's a cash grab and money grab, but it's like, it's not there. Okay, so the only money grab part is in terms of the alleged story of what Best Buy is doing, right? It's saying we're charging you because you got free content, or you got content that you were supposed to pay for. That's why you pre-ordered it.
In the issues of the return, like, that's up to Best Buy. I mean, that's their return policy. I don't.
Yeah.
I just mean the paying.
But the reason why I'm saying, like, but again, you're pre-ordering the game, and I get that you're paying to play the beta at that point, but the only issue is really when it comes to your decision to get rid of your pre-order, and that's not up to them or what the retailer does, right?
Right.
I mean, unless they say something to the retailer.
The issue that I have isn't with Best Buy; it's with
the reason why
companies.
The reason why I'm saying that is because the game company's not really making a cash grab. They're just trying to hit certain numbers. Like, for example, I could go in and pre-order a ton of games at GameStop, and then cancel all of those pre-orders if I wanted to. All the pre-orders is doing really is pushing copies to that store. That's really what pre-orders are doing. It's helping the employees get those numbers out that they have to for GameStop. But it also is like, if I were to be the only one to pre-order Destiny at a certain GameStop, they're going to get a few copies.
Right.
But if I plus 120 something other people pre-order the game, they're going to get a ton of copies for that, which is good for the store because you have constant flow of content for the people.
I mean,
I feel like that's the whole idea behind them pushing, like, hey, we're going to get people pre-ordering this instantly as soon as you can. Only problem I have is when it comes to digital, because digital is locked. You're not getting that money back at all. Like, I mean, unless you make some good claim with Sony or Microsoft, you're not getting that money back.
Right.
And that's just with any kind of digital.
Yeah, right.
Like,
all
deal
sales
that
are
you.
final.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you're pre-ordering a game at a store or something, like, is it really their fault? I mean, I understand it may be. It's not a bad business practice to do in terms of trying to make money. It may not be the best for the customer because it forces them to spend their money on something or lock their money to a certain situation. But then again, you're only spending $5 at a GameStop to pre-order a game.
Yeah, as long as you didn't put
so
your
so
own
you're
60
literally
on.
so you're literally
if you were
spending,
on the fence, you should have only put $5 on to begin with rather than pay the whole 60.
So exactly. So it's like, and it was, this is the issue is really with Best Buy in that point.
Right.
With that problem.
But
if you're so really all the stores asking, like, hey, put down $5 at your local GameStop, play the demo. If you don't like it, go back to your retailer. Like, you probably can know that. You're probably gonna ask, like, hey, how does this work? If you're unsure about the pre-order system, you're like, hey, if I don't like it, could I cancel the pre-order? If I change my mind, what can I do?
Yeah, will you charge me for that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which they most likely
I guess
won't.
I guess they just assumed it. Like okay, yeah, you know, these people love their customers.
So the biggest problem here isn't really with the company deciding to say that outside of the digital world of the game, but in terms of just the physical copy, it's not that bad. I don't find it that bad thinking about it. Whereas the company is saying like, hey, if you wanna play this game, go to your store. I mean, you probably pre-order for a few bucks, play the game, and then if you don't like it, there's normally return policies at games or at stores where you can kind of get your money back at that point. If anything, it's store credit.
Right.
If you bought the game from Walmart, you get store credit. You're going to use that money at Walmart. Like you're going to spend the $5 at some point in time at a Walmart. Not the end of the world.
Right.
Spend the $5 at GameStop. You probably go to GameStop enough. You're going to end up spending that money at the GameStop. So it's like, at the end of the day, I don't blame the company in terms of the situation, because the whole problem occurred and the whole debate occurred because of the decision that a retailer made, not the company.
Right. Well, okay, and that's what I mean is to clarify, like, in terms of just broad business decisions in general, business is business. I mean, it's not like a personal issue. They're doing whatever they can do to make the money, and that money allows them to keep making the games that I love. So, I mean, do what you got to do. But in terms of the retailer, in terms of Best Buy in the situation, that's their return policy. I'm not judging them on that. It's there for a reason. Maybe it's bad, maybe it's good, maybe it screws the customers over. I don't know. I don't really have an issue with Best Buy. Like, my issue was more broad because my issue was specifically of the developers or the publishers of the game or whoever makes these decisions in game development. Trying to make people pay for access to a demo of your game.
That's what you used to do back in the day. You used to buy those magazines for like $5, and you got a demo. I mean, now, granted, you got a ton of demos. Yeah,
I guess.
You get quite a few demos, but you're still paying for those demos.
Yeah, I guess you did still pay back then. Like, in my mind, they were free, but magazine. My parents paid for it.
I remember buying a magazine just so that I could get the Soul Calibur 2 demo, and I played the crap out of that demo.
Yeah, exactly.
But I paid for it.
That's the thing. And there's no time limit on it. You had that demo forever.
Yeah,
you know,
I never bought the game.
There was no limitations. You know, like
Wasn't that 1 month on a demo?
Monster Hunter is not forever. Not on this. 30. You got 30 free tries or 30 times you can launch the game.
But that's the thing is I just feel like the whole the argument there is what constitutes a demo versus what constitutes a beta. You know, like I miss if the point of your demo and your beta is to get people to see, you know, this is what your game is. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, it's why limit it, you know? And I guess for the sake of an MMO with Bungie, like that's their servers, you know. So like you can't just keep, you know, running
open
on the servers
to everyone
forever and then suddenly switch over you know. So like I get that, and you can't close it to one server because then only people flood your server all the time and nobody gets to play.
Who pre-ordered
so like
for
in a game where that makes sense,
but
server. Maybe have like a single player version
for the bad server.
Okay, maybe we have a single player version that they can play over and over again or something like that. Like that they can just keep and play if they want. You know, it just feels like a cash grab to me to have a demo or a beta come out and make people have to pay it for it in order to play for the thing.
Quick answer to why you wouldn't want to have access beta like lasting forever before the game comes out, because you've seen it a lot with early access games. They come out for like $20. You get the base core of how the game is. Maybe not. You're going to miss a lot of features, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what happens is that people buy those, play the crap out the game, and then never touch it again.
Right.
And then it's like when the full game is released, there's a lot more of those full games being released, and there's less people buying those games because they already got the experience on a cheaper level.
Sure,
and then it's like, and what I'm saying is that you're going to lose a certain amount of audience from people just playing the demo. They're going to get their fix from just playing the multiplayer in the demo, and then that's it.
If you make it good enough and like just blow my mind with the demos, like that's a game I gotta get.
For us, sure, but for the casual audience that may buy your game and just play it and then put it on their shelf, that's free money. But they may play those demos for a couple of months. It's like, you know what? I was thinking about buying a game, but I'm only going to play it for the multiplayer. I already got my fix. Call of Duty's coming out right after that. I really want to play Call of Duty for my multiplayer.
Okay.
Then they're not going to go back to the those kind of things come into play, and it makes a good rational reason behind their decision making.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, especially in the case of the multiplayer. Like, if somebody was like, hey, let me pick up Destiny and try out the multiplayer, and like that's what they were interested in, you wouldn't want to just leave that up, because
and
then they could just play Destiny until Call of Duty comes out, and then, be done. I was thinking more along the lines of have just the single player story, the opening homecoming mission, that's your demo.
That would be cool. I would like that to be available.
And then you could play that, and you could just play that as many times as you want. Try new characters, try new weapons, try different things, just experience different aspects of the game. Maybe you can get the experience of which, maybe I don't know which character I want to play.
Go through the whole thing of using a sidearm instead of the auto rifle.
The only thing is that they would have to change it, which it wouldn't be hard, but it seems like they have certain exotics locked in there to appear, and there's maybe quite a bit of exotics in there. Because just from us three playing, we all got completely different weapons. So
it's cool that they gave you one at the beginning. That's pretty cool. Here's an exotic.
Yeah, just to let you know, there's going to be
great
stuff in this game.
Great stuff.
I get what you're saying about the whole pre-order thing, but there's good sides to, the situation. There's debates on both sides.
Yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, I mean, it's business, and video games are a business, and that's what they got to do. I mean, the market determines what you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe as individuals or as a company, they wouldn't prefer to do things that way.
As individuals, yes. As a company, no, they're making the same decision every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes
your
money.
Company's purpose is to make money, and it's just how you do that's the only thing.
What is the market beside Hello Games?
I wouldn't do anything different.
Because I mean, they've already done crazy good stuff as a Bungie as a company, just for Destiny alone. I don't remember the exact layout of the story, but you had the whole situation where there's a guy who had had brain surgery or something like that. And part of his
real life.
Real life. So part of his his therapy was to play. Was the doctor's like, hey, go play games, to get to work everything properly, to get used to the stuff again. And there was a community head kind of guy that was like the spokesman, DJ, who if you went onto their site to look at the patch releases or any just news or about the game, he was the one presenting and kind of talking to you. And what happened is that he put out another one and he talked about the story that people brought up to Bungie about the situation with this guy, and what they did is just gave him these weapons that weren't even released in the game yet. It's like, hey, we know you have this issue, you're playing the game, we thank you for playing our game that you chose our game to play. Here's free content that nobody else can get at all. It's pretty cool stuff that a company and a game does that. It may not be for you, but it's cool to see that happen for the community.
Right, no, like I said, I mean, I like Destiny. I mean, I have my issues with it, I'll be critical of it, but this game is is sold. I'm going to get it, just because I had a good time playing it, I had a great experience. But
I agree.
Most likely what's going to happen is once I get to the end of the game and I beat the story, I'm probably going to put it down and just not pick it up again unless they do better with the DLC this time around.
They didn't do bad with the DLC.
They just
later on.
Honestly,
I'll say this. No, because the House of Wolves and the Taken King were really good DLCs to add to that.
I just think they just need to bring them out quicker,
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
It took a long time for the first one into the second one.
Yeah, that's true. If the DLCs came out more regularly and it was less big when a DLC came out, then sure, and not $20.
I would have said just play throughout the story of the Taken King. It's a pretty good DLC.
A third of the game,
But all in all,
yeah, I'm not good at math.
Otherwise, this is why I don't pre-order at all.
Well, if you want to watch things, you can watch Drifter's video about why you shouldn't pre-order. I'll be clear, I didn't pre-order Destiny 2. I'm gonna buy it. The money's gone already, but I didn't pre-order it. But I don't know much about all that stuff. There's a whole Drifter made a video of it. I think it was fantastic. Talks about the penalties, the downsides of pre-ordering, and But so I can't go into all that. I didn't do the research. But
we exhausted our time by quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's okay, man.
We went over time
I'm just saying.
By a lot.
I'm not complaining about it.
Did we really?
Yeah, we started this before.
Yeah. Oh wait, this was
before 12.
But did we start? But did we start at
How long has this been?
This says an hour.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
We've been on for a long
time.
All
right. Everybody, we'll see you guys later. Let's do the outro, guys.
Guys in the closet. It's Jeff. It's Mike. It's Maurice. Guys in the closet. And also that one thing earlier. Goodbye, everyone.
See you later. Have a nice night.